So this is kind of like a bruh baking slash part of the celebration video that I'm doing. So if you've seen the celebration video before and I had a cake, this is me making the cake, because I was like, you know, sometimes the me making the cake makes the video too long. But anyways, this is technically a bruh baking and also like a celebration video thing. So bruh baking, hello. But yeah, this is part of the celebration video. I'll probably have a link to that or something in the description if you want to check that out. But today I am making a coffee cake because personally I love coffee. So I don't know why I've never tried to make a coffee cake. I've had coffee cake stuff from like Starbucks, but I've never made one. Today is gonna change that. This actual recipe that I got this stuff from, this is like the longest recipe thing I've ever had to write. It's from Preppy Kitchen, which I love all their videos. I think his name is John. He has a last name. I can't remember it. He is fantastic. I love his videos. They always have a story to what he's making. So fun. But I watched his like coffee cake video and I was like, bruh, he has videos for everything and I want to make a coffee cake. So I'm following his recipe. I'll probably have a link to that in the description if you want to try it. Anyways. Since this is probably the last like bruh baking video I'm doing in this apartment, I'm of course gonna wear like the epic, you know, if you want your username on my apron, feel free to tell me, I'll put it on my apron, or my chef hat, but that's what I'm wearing today. So like I said, we're making coffee cake. The ingredients are pretty consistent in terms of like you don't have to get a lot, you're just using a lot of the same thing. So I'll have the recipe once again in the description. It's a lot of like brown sugar, flour, baking powder, sour cream for some reason. We are ready to go. So what's interesting about this recipe is there's 3 sections technically. There's the cinnamon filling, which kind of goes in between the actual cake part. There's the actual cake part, and then there's like the streusel, like kind of crumb cinnamon stuff on the top, and that's personally my favorite part of this kind of cake. So I'll just kind of go section by section, and I think instead of listing all the ingredients that I have here, what I'm going to do is put little measurements and stuff and explain what I'm doing in like the bottom, just so you can follow along. Anyways, you can also just like skip to the end to see if it works. We'll see. I also am gonna drink coffee while I'm doing this, and I have some in the microwave. Just hold on. Yay. So the first part of this recipe is pretty easy. It's mixing the cinnamon filling, which the cinnamon filling that goes in between is super easy to do. It's literally like 3/4 a cup of light brown sugar, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and then 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and you're just mixing those 3 things together, so that's what I'm gonna do. By the way, for this recipe, make sure you have like a 9x9 pan and then like multiple bowls. Because I feel like if anything for this recipe, the most of what you'll need are bowls. Okay. 3/4 a cup of light brown sugar. Bruh. There's so many things. Brown sugar, and then 1/4 a cup of all-purpose flour, which isn't a lot. I got too much. That's about right. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I got that. 1, 2. Yeah, counting. So you just mix this. Bruh. Smells good. Cinnamon is like one of my favorite like spices just because of how it smells. No, I'm spilling things. And John, the guy who makes the video, said for the cinnamon filling, it melts when you put it in between the cake batter. So it's like, if it's dry right now, that's fine. Different bowl. Orange bowl. Brown sugar again. This part is for the actual streusel, by the way, and then the next thing is like the cake, I believe. We'll see. You got that brown sugar, and it is 2/3 a cup. Where is 2/3? Brown sugar. Flour, and it's 1 cup. It's a little bit more than a cup. Okay, 1 cup. 1/4 teaspoon. That's really small. Salt. Cinnamon. 2 teaspoons again. Where is it? Found it. Okay, 2 teaspoons. No, come here. 2 teaspoons. Yes. Whisking again. So it's kind of stinky because my brown sugar is a little clumpy, so we're just working out the issues. That's what you're supposed to do, work through issues. I don't always, but you know, it is what it is. Ah! That's fine. Bruh, 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 bruh. Next, what you're gonna do for this is add in butter. And for this part, it's half a cup of unsalted butter, which I used some earlier, like in the week. So I literally have exactly like half a cup. And what you're gonna do with that, because we've added in all the other stuff for the streusel, like the filling and the streusel are about to be done. And what you have to do is you kind of dice up the butter like in little chunks, and then using your fingers, you're gonna mash it to make like the little clumpy sugary things. It's my favorite part of streusel, honestly. Like if you watch his video, he has it in little chunks, and you can just kind of like make the chunks with whatever. I'm using a fork. Make sure your hands are clean, by the way. So, you know, like I have these little like clumps of butter, and what you do is you just like take the whisk out or whatever you've done with it, and you put the little clumps in your bowl. So now what I'm supposed to do is just mash the little thingies around the butter, and I got nails, but you know, that's what water and cleaning your hands off again is for. So you basically, according to the recipe, just mash your fingers into the streusel, like the dry mixture, and try not to make it, you know, like completely smooth. You want the little clumpies. So yeah, but I hope all of you are doing good. My hands are so messy. But you know, mine doesn't feel super crumbly right now, so I'm just gonna add in a little bit more butter. I think it's kind of up to you in that scenario how yours is doing. But mine's still pretty, like, not sandy, but I'm gonna add some more butter. I think I'm just gonna add, like, not even, like, 1/4 of a cup. Like, I'm not gonna add that much. Maybe, like, 1 tablespoon. Bruh. And now we mash again. And it's, like, supposed to be clumpy. Like, if you don't know what a coffee cake looks like, maybe I'll put a picture. The, like, top stuff's supposed to look clumpy. There's a reason. Yeah, now that I'm doing this, if you've got like fingernails or something, maybe cut them down or whatever, or like shorten them, because this is messy. And honestly, I can't remember what the reason for why these are called coffee cakes, because there's no like espresso powder in this. There's nothing. So I don't know why. I think it's like you enjoy it with coffee, which right now I'm drinking coffee. So I guess I'm doing it right. But yeah, there's like no actual coffee in this. So, you know, I think that's the reason. I think it's like you enjoy it with coffee. So, there's that. So this is about done, and I'll show you what it looks like, or what I have in a second. But yeah, you don't want it all like one big clump, but you want it pretty clumpy, because the clumps are gonna like kind of not dry, but they're gonna like get kind of hard on the top. It is my favorite part of the cake, honestly. Here you go. This is kind of what mine looks like. Like there's plenty of like crumbly kind of things, and it's not all completely like wet from the butter, like kind of melted. It's just like clumpies. I'm gonna set it to the side. Now this, my friends, is where we're actually doing the cake. And you're technically gonna need like 2 bowls for this. So in total, I've used almost 4 bowls. It's about to be 4. And the first thing we're gonna do for the cake portion is add or like whisk together flour, cornstarch, salt, and baking powder in 1 bowl, and then we'll set it aside. So for the cake portion, the flour is 2 cups, like 2 1/4 a cup, so 2 whole cups, and then 1 like 1/4 cup, I think is what that is. So 1, 2, and then 1/4, wherever that is. Yep. Cornstarch, that is this, and it is 1/4 cup. Salt. How much salt? So if it's 3/4, 1 teaspoon, I almost do a whole teaspoon, not completely. 2.5 teaspoons, okay. And then with that, with all those, like, what is that, 4 things in a bowl, you whisk that, apparently. Which, like, you can't really tell if it's mixed because it's, like, all white ingredients, but, you know, it is what it is. And then for the last bowl, what we're doing is we are, with a beater, we're beating the butter, granulated sugar together. Yeah. And for this, it's 3/4 a cup, which is almost, So it's 3/4 a cup. This is half a cup. Yes. Yes. Like half of the half. 3/4 a cup of butter and granulated sugar, which is 1 cup. 1 whole cup of regular granulated sugar. Yeah. I got so much around me, it's insane. Paddle. This go here, paddle. Okay, that's in. They're both in. What you always want to make sure your thing is turned off before you plug it in. So, here we go. You're supposed to do this until it's fluffy, by the way. Which from my understanding essentially means like it's not, you know, clumpy, it's fluffy. Like you just gotta be there to see it. Next, what you're gonna do is get your brown sugar again, and this time it's a little less. It's only 1/2 cup, so not a lot. And you're gonna add that into the butter like sugar bowl. Which I guess if you want to, you can go ahead and mix that in with the butter and the sugar just so that's already, you know, mixed in. Which if you've got little clumps like I do, just like break them up with like a spatula or something. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Bruh. Then we're actually using something new, which is vanilla, which is you get your teaspoon thingy again, and it's 2 whole teaspoons of vanilla. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you've ever just tasted straight up vanilla extract, it's pretty strong. The next thing we're gonna do is, and I think there's recipes without having to use eggs, but for this recipe we're using 3 eggs. I know it's not focusing for some reason. 3. Gang, 3 eggs, and you put that in the mixture as well. 3. Yahoo! I'm gonna mix these up real quick. And then last but not least, and I swear this seems kind of weird, but apparently it's not, we're putting a whole like 8 ounces of sour cream into this bowl. I don't know why, it is what it is. Technically it's like labeled as 1 cup of sour cream, but 1 cup is 8 ounces. Ayo, we learning stuff today. But if you just get like a regular tub of sour cream and yeet it in there, just like get it in there eventually, you'll be good. And then mix. And then after that, what you want to do is you take the ingredients from this bowl, like the dry bowl from the second, like earlier part of this, and you dump that together, and that's the cake batter. Yeah, buddy. You can also start putting stuff away if you want, because this is messy. So that's pretty mixed together for me anyways. You know, as always, if you're the only person making this by yourself, you get to taste the stuff, so you know, bonus. But hold up, that was good. Also, according to Preppy Kitchen Man, this batter is kind of limited because you have to do technically 2 layers in your pan. So if you're someone who likes to eat like raw dough, because honestly, same, if you want to do that, don't do that for this recipe because you don't have a lot of batter. So don't. This is kind of the hardish part, not really. Preppy Kitchen Man said, for your little pan thing, you're gonna want to put, what is this? This is like parchment paper inside it. And you can kind of just either push it to the sides or like make little squares because you don't want the dough running in anywhere. So, you know, just get some parchment paper, I guess. And you know, if it's too big, cut it. I'm gonna rely on the fact that when I put batter in here, it will hold it down. Also, before I forget, the reason why you're using parchment paper is to get the cake out easier. That's important. So what you're gonna do is pour half of the cake batter into the pan because you're gonna use the other half to top it off. You know, yeah. So I'm just gonna see what happens with what I got so far. Yeah. Just kind of spread it. It might be a little sticky. Hey, things are sticky. That's how it is. Then you're gonna get one of the old bowls, and this one is literally just the cinnamon filling stuff. Like, it's the dry one, but it's supposed to melt, apparently. You know, just sprinkle it around to make sure it covers everything. It smells amazing. I'm very excited to actually eat this. I do that with all the things I make, but you know, I love coffee and I like cinnamon, so this is really exciting. So this is what mine looks like so far. It's like, the pan is a 9x9, so it's not that big. And half of the bottom is the cake batter, and then I put the filling, and the filling pretty much covers the entire, like, section. And then what you do next is you use the rest of the cake batter to cover it on the top. So far. And now that you've, like, use the rest of the batter, you just like spread it out to make sure it covers the cinnamon layer that you just put on. That way, cake. And like, I had plenty of cake batter left over, so you be the judge of how much you pour each time. You'll be fine, I think. You have enough power to make your own decisions. Now I can eat some extra, haha. Here comes my favorite part. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit again, because the butter kind of makes it clumpy. But you just, whenever you're ready, you sprinkle it on the top. Just like, yeah. And you do want to try to get it everywhere, you know. I might have used a little bit too much butter to try to compensate, you know. But that's okay. If you have any recipes you want me to try, let me know. Right now I'm just kind of like covering spots that I've missed, you know. There's plenty of, I feel like plenty of the stuff, so it's not very hard to miss any spots, I feel like. And you can kind of spread it out too if you need to. At least I am anyways. I feel like I got a lot of it actually, which I'm not complaining. I think it looks good. And I have a little bit left over, but I'm gonna just snack on that. But yeah. So mine look like this, and I'm honestly a little worried it might go over the pan because it's literally to the top. But you know, it is what it is. So the last thing to do is cook it at 350 for about 50 minutes. John said depending on your kind of oven, you might want to do 5 minutes less, 5 minutes more. Also, I'm up in the mountains, so I have to be like conscious of the fact that it has to cook a little bit higher for a shorter amount of time. So I'm probably gonna do about like 370 for maybe about like 45 minutes and check it. He also said if you put a toothpick in it and it comes out clean, you're good. So you know, original recipe says 350 for about 50 minutes. So I will see you then. Hello again. It's been about 50 minutes, a little bit more than that because I had to take out the cake and then I was setting up stuff for celebration video. Yay. Here it is though, nice and like fluffy and big. I'll pull it out in a second. Look at that, she thick. Now the real test is whether or not it cooked all the way, because I looked at it in the oven. I was like, it looks cooked. But you know how it's like, you always gotta give it a few minutes to cool, and before that it looks like it's gonna cave in on itself. That's what it was doing. But I've let it cool, kind of. I'm not gonna eat it until I record my next video, which is technically the video before this. But I'm gonna save the taste test till then. But I just want to see what it looks like. As far as looks go, it looked bussin'. It looks cooked all the way through. I mean, look at that. I think it looks nice. Hold on. You can kind of see like the cinnamon layer like on the bottom there. I definitely think that I made the bottom layer too thin, but you know, I'm just trying. Very epic. It's pretty dang heavy too. Like, it's not, I don't know if this is like 2 pounds or something, but it's kind of like a weight. Like, it's got weight to it. It's thick. It looks all the way like cooked and everything. The cinnamon, it smells really good. It smells like how a coffee cake should smell. It's just the taste. And if you want to know what I thought about the taste, feel free to check out the celebration video because I'll eat it then. But that is the bruh baking video that I thought I would make longer, but no, I'm gonna light it and eat it in my celebration video. But overall, I think just from presentation, I think I did fantastic. So if you have any questions about the recipe or anything, of course that will be in the description. This is hot on my hand, so I can only talk for so long. But that is it. So I'll probably put in the description if it tasted good, or in the comment section. But yeah, recipe in the description and everything, and that is it. So thank you very much for watching. Bye.